Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to share about 5 things you should know before choosing to go to law school in Singapore. Yep. And a bit of background, I studied in Singapore my whole life. I went to primary school, secondary school, junior college, and then finally to a law school in Singapore. And I took the A levels. But just a disclaimer, this video is not related to any of the law schools in Singapore. I'm just speaking from experience and hoping to share with you some useful information I wish I knew or wish someone would have told me before I signed up for law school. The first thing I want to share is that your A levels results are not everything. Okay, so basically, before I started applying for university, when I was studying for the A levels, I always believed that A levels results are the be all and end all. If you don't get your straight A's, you will not have a chance at law school. And so I studied pretty hard to make sure that yes, eventually I did get my straight A's. But I soon came to realize that your A levels results, the straight A's, only brought me to the interview room, and how I performed in the interview was more important than my results. And also adding on to that point is the fact that I had friends who did not score straight A's, and they were a few A's short, and they still managed to get an interview at a law school in Singapore. In fact, some of my course mates had C grades in their A levels. So I would say that your A level results do not completely predict whether you would get an interview, and secondly, whether you will be able to impress the interviewers in your interview room. So that was one thing I wish I knew. Second thing I would share with you about is the fact that you will spend most of your waking hours studying, unfortunately. I mean, before I went to law school, I was always under the impression that A levels was my biggest exam, and that basically it was the hardest exam that I would ever have to study for. And once I'm done with that, then life will be easy from then on. But I realized that when I was in law school, I spent way more hours studying. Basically, depending on which law school you go to in Singapore, but the one that I was in, if I wanted to do well, I had to spend most of my waking hours studying. And the reason for that is because you have a really long list of readings, and the textbooks are really long to read. Cases are really long. Each case can go to about 80 pages, and you may have to read 10 cases per module per week. So imagine if you have 5 modules in that semester. That's the amount of readings you have to do in a week. The third thing I would share with you is that law school will probably be the hardest time of your life. And this may be different for different people. Some people find that university is like the time when they discover themselves, when they have the most fun. But for me, university was really the hardest. Studying was tough, but also learning to find a balance was tough as well. And it took me about perhaps 2 years before I learned to not feel guilty about not finishing my work, and also to accept that you can't always be perfect, and you can't always finish your reading list, and that you can still do fine even if you don't finish everything you set out to finish. The fourth thing I would want to share with you is that your last exam in law school is not your final exam. Law school, basically after law school, which is 4 years, you will have to do the bar exam, which is six months. So the bar exams will happen usually in December, and you start in about like June or July. So you have to spend 6 months preparing for the bar exam. And the last thing I want to share with you is that your A levels results do not determine how well you do in law school. I have had friends who had C's and D's in their A levels, who went on to become dean's listers in law school, and I have also seen people with straight A's, perfect scores, even 8 distinctions who did not do well in law school, because honestly law school is a different ball game. Yeah, so I hope that my sharing has been useful if you're considering whether to go to law school, and leave down in comments below what other information you would like to hear, and I'll probably do a second video soon.